Salve Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. I'm Rear Admiral Tarek of the Dreadnought HMS Exile, as we continue our campaign against the Lyran Star Empire. And the last time, we have finally neutralized the planet of 5-3, so let's try and get on top of that before we lose it. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take a patrol in the meantime, because an asteroid-based assault has come up, because we decided to fly into this area with a station tile. Not a big deal. Hopefully we'll be able to get back in time. I don't think it'll be too much of an imposition on us. We should be able to hopefully blast our way through this, then blast our way through the planetary assault that may no doubt come up. We do have a sufficient amount of firepower to actually deal with it. Probably anything that actually comes our way, so I'm not too worried. Let's increase our speed to our slow little trudge of 4 while we charge up all of our weapon systems. We increase the forward shields to maximum reinforcement and give ourselves 6 points of electronic countermeasure. It's not a super big deal against the Lyrans after all. Most of their weapons don't actually accurately shoot at you. They instead just bounce into you because they're gigantic bubbles that don't care. But it's always nice to have a little bit of protection from incoming phasers and disruptors. According to the fleet screen, the light cruiser that we're squaring off against is a CWPX. We're going to send a probe, find out exactly what's going on. He does have a capital X at the end for the suffix, which does tell us that he is a late model X. So there is the small X refit, the large X rebuilds, and then the X prefixes. So the X prefixes are ships like XCAs, XCBs, XSCs, XDDs, that sort of thing. And they are full-on from the hull, designed as X-type ships, and are generally pretty powerful. They tend to be some of the most powerful ships in the game. They are the advanced cruisers, the advanced destroyers, and the advanced frigates. They are terrifying in the right hands. The capital X suffixes, CWPX, these ships tend to be not quite as good, but they tend to be designed along the conventional lines that the rest of the fleet is made from. They don't make maximum use of the new technologies, specifically normally the heavy weapons and the like. But with that said, they are still reasonably effective ships. They tend to have good shielding, good phaser defenses, especially a lot with phaser X's. But most importantly, they take absolute full advantage of the new engine systems, which allow them to be incredibly powerful under the right circumstances. Did you just kick on another hydrogen turn? Well, apparently not. And then there's the little X suffixes, which all that does is it changes all your phaser 1s and 2s to phaser X's, which that in itself is a huge upgrade, especially if you're playing a race like Klingons, because the Klingons have a ton, also the Lyrans, have a ton of ships that have the phaser 2 mounts, and that really does lower their effectiveness. Oh, you're going to try and bump me now. There's not much I can do about it. Slow down, slow down. We were able to mostly protect ourselves against that. Alright, let's get the fighters out. I don't feel like taking too much damage on this battle. Besides, he's used up both of his ESGs. Oh, now he used up both of his ESGs. How many ESGs did you have? Well, we're getting our fighters out. They should hopefully sanitize the area. We're also going to start getting on the repairs, as they just annihilate everybody around us, as they do. We're going to continue our slow crawl. We are down a point of power, but we're doing mostly okay. See, the frigates are not yet yawned. There they go. And now they will finally send themselves up against the white fire. And let's return. That way, when the mission ends, they will automatically jump back to us magically, and we don't have to worry about losing the one fighter there, because I really don't want to have to lose a fighter in this one. We'll keep the repair going. Got to get on target with... There we go. Perfect. Well, not perfect mission. We did, after all, lose several shields. We got in very close, and like I said, the capital X suffix ships, they can actually be pretty good. The Federation capital X suffix, the CAX, is actually really, really powerful, because it makes use of a massive number of phaser X's, far more than most others. Although it still uses standard technology when it comes to the photon torpedoes. So it's not unbearably powerful. And patrol, because I don't like ship assaults. But yeah, the little X suffix is incredibly powerful in the right hands. We started this battle a little bit dented. Well, we'll be going home after this one, so we should be able to get ourselves fully fixed up, although that does mean we don't have armor. So we're going to have to play this one a little bit cagey. We can't just wade into a fight and expect to immediately come out perfectly fine, as we saw in the last battle. We can't really do that even if we're at full power, especially against a, well, apparently he was a light cruiser, wasn't he? And he managed to survive pretty much the entirety of our salvo, which that in itself is actually pretty impressive. Let's increase the speed of time as we cruise on forward to try and find our actual enemy, who shall be the actual people who we have to fight in order to take this tile. It is a heavy cruiser, and it is an NTGX. So this is a little X suffix. All this did was take all this phaser 1s and 2s and turned them into phaser X's, Which again, with Lyrans and Klingons, who tend to have a lot of those systems, that's a huge power upgrade. Like, the amount of firepower that you get out of that is just absurd. Simply because a Phaser 2 is... it has the same power requirements, it has almost the same damage potential, but not really. And so at the end of the day, it ends up being a much less reliable weapon system, a much less good weapon system. And so when you change that to a Phaser X, which is a Phaser 1 that can also overload to do 50% more damage, there's really just no contest. So he's going really slow, and I'm somewhat wondering why he wants to do that. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with a tractor bump. So we're going to kick out a tractor beam, set ourselves up to be able to defend against that. He has been opening fire on us kind of steadily, not being super accurate about it. I have... let's sap that a little bit more. I was hoping to goad out him using his ESG, because I really would like that to be utilized first, but apparently he's just sort of buying time for his pseudo-frigates to show up, which I can't really blame him for. The pseudo-frigates, while not great, especially Lyran pseudo-frigates, are pretty terrible. They are something. Okay, slow down, he's gone both. Oh, my friend, I think... No, we knocked them all out. Okay. Okay, let's deploy the fighters now. And of course the fighters are going to attack the pseudo-frigates, which are not a danger to me. Guys, seriously, I appreciate the aggressiveness, I appreciate the desire to defend the mothership, but in this case, this is one of those times where it is just not important. Because if you had just killed the mothership, they would have died automatically. Unfortunately, they are a little bit too committed to my survival. Although, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Get back home, because I'm committed to your survival. Oh, come on, get back on board. Okay, good. That means we saved the entire squadron. So we're going to start pulling forward to get on top of him again. His Gatling phasers have opened him up. And you know what? I'm actually in range for a phaser shot. So we're going to open fire with that, sort of scatter him a little bit more. We'll start to call him home now. Just make sure that he doesn't take too much damage. Also, it'll be much cheaper if we don't have to replace them. Although, if we get the ship that we want... Oh, I'll stop. If we get the ship that we want, we're actually going to be replacing all the fighters right away. Because we can't carry our fighter groups over to a different ship. Increase speed. And that's why. You want to stay nice and tight for those fusion cannons, because when they fire... Oh, it's glorious. They're technically fusion beams, but I like fusion cannon better. I like cannon a lot better. Although Hellbore beams? No, that would not be a thing. Still Hellbore cannons. 258 prestige is our reward, and most importantly, a planet tile taken. So let's pop back over here and check out the shipyard. We are looking for an MNVX, which I'm not certain if it'll actually be around, because it is a fairly huge ship, and it is very powerful. There's an MNRX, which is the Monarch battleship, but we want the Monarch battleship carrier. Now, this is a great ship, don't get me wrong, 8 Hellbore cannons, although I think these two shoot backwards, a little bit of the loss of firepower there. But at the end of the day, these 20 fighters more than make up for losing 2 Hellbores. And plus, again, I think these 2 Hellbores were backwards. So having 6 in the forward arc is just much, much better. Maintains the same fusion armament, maintains the same Phaser G and Phaser X armament. Not certain about Marines. How are we looking at that? 15 Marines versus 24 oh no, this is 24 Marines compared to 24 Marines. And we're looking at total engine power of 84, battery 24, 84, 24. So yeah, that's even better because it means you're not charging up 2 Hellbores, which you then have to hold charge. So that actually gives us a little bit more speed. Transporter 6, Tractor 6, Shuttles 6, Fighters, yeah. Fighters 12 versus Fighters 20. That is just so much better. The question is, when is it going to show up in the store? The other suggestion that has been given is they want me to get one of the X-type cruisers, which I think I did X-type cruisers last time. And so I'd like to sort of mix things up a little bit and go a little bit more heavily into the carriers. The original plan was to get ourselves an Iron Chancellor carrier, which has 25 fighters? 24. And unfortunately, that just did not come to pass. We are promoted. We are now a full-on admiral. Let's go to the supplier, fix 15 plus 7, because they always miss that 7. We're all good on fighters, and we have a couple of spare parts and some mines and the like that we do need to replace. And one Marine that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. maybe in the right place at the right time when we held off a boarding action. Let's keep putting the pressure here. I want to sort of wring them out a bit. That way I can take all their important stations, their important planets on the outer rim, mostly so I don't have to share the glory, and also so that when we start marching inward, we have nearby things which we can run to. So we're being escorted today by the I cannot read your name because it's currently purple on orange. The Transwin? Transwine? That can't be right. Let's overload this. I'm going to swap camera angles. The Transwine. It is the Transwine. That is an interesting ship name. We're squaring off against a single light cruiser, although HCWX, not quite sure if that's a heavy cruiser, well, a heavy war cruiser, or what. He's definitely a fairly larger design compared to most others of his normal class. We're going to send out a probe, find out exactly what it is we're dealing with, and hopefully we won't have too much trouble with it. Let's get the forward shield reinforced to a certain level. That way we can defend ourselves against incoming disruptor fire and the typical ECM. We'll wait for that, and hey, just gotta double check. We are traveling to the upper left-hand corner of the map, so if all hell breaks loose and we get totally lost, we just know that we need to head towards the gigantic wormhole in the upper left-hand corner of the map. It's apparently Deep Space Asteroid. So let's kick the speed up a little bit more because we can actually get closer to them. And increase the speed of time. For all, we're not going to be doing anything hanging way back here. There we go. That's as fast as we can go and still maintain our electronic countermeasure. Although, he's engaging the Transwine right off the bat, which makes sense. The Transwine is the easier target. He will be less difficult to annihilate, although I still think he's going to have some serious trouble with actually taking on the Transwine. It is the Vicious. And already, I don't think we were actually needed in this battle, although the Transwine got pretty badly mauled. Not quite certain where from. Let's start lobbing that in there, make sure that he understands that he has made a mistake by not running right away. And it does appear that we're going to stay within range of the station. Get me to a range of 0. I want my fusion cannons to have their ultimate effectiveness. 3, 2, 1, 0. Hi. Beautiful. Okay, now on to the asteroid base. Slow down so that we can actually charge things up. And we've got a buddy. So if he focuses on our buddy, I'm actually okay with that. And then we can just use that to defend ourselves. Fusion cannons not charging up. Oh, they take so much power in overload mode. Probably don't need to overload them because this is going to be a siege, but I want to. Want to have them powered up at full strength. But again, if he's going to sort of do this and just take all the fire, it might be a good idea just to charge in and deploy our fighters as well. After all, we are also looking as soon as possible to getting into the Monarch battleship carrier. So maybe we should just start taking and throwing dice a bit, because it's not a big deal if we lose this ship, if we lose a fighter group. I mean, it wouldn't be great, but that is my intention, honestly. Let's go, fighters. They tend to eat fire really quickly. And we're going to slow down the speed of time. And I'm also going to switch the rigging. Oh, no, I don't have to. Okay. So he can't defend himself against these incoming missiles. He's got nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically face tank a whole bunch of phaser 3s for my fighters who are about to come in. I got to make sure I'm ahead of my fighters. Well, actually, no. The missiles will probably do it. And 1, 0. Hey, I'm face tanking all of your phaser 3s, please. Oh, that's just gorgeous. So as long as we had somebody to distract the damage for us, we were fine. Beautiful. That's one of the fastest asteroid base assaults we've ever done. So, because we didn't have to wait the couple of rounds in order to recharge plasma torpedoes like we would if we were taking a King Condor battleship. 188 prestige because they realized that it was super easy, and the tile's neutral. I'm going to be checking the shipyard quite a bit because, well, I want my battleship carrier. Unfortunately, my battleship carrier will not show up just yet. It's going to be difficult to get. Mainly because they only produce so many ships a year, and the battleship carrier is not a highly produced ship. It's kind of specialized, and also well sought after, which makes sense when you consider we're Hydrons, and we like to grab the biggest, baddest carriers we can. Although technically it's not the biggest, baddest carrier. I mean, the Iron Chancellor, which came out way back in the early era, that's more powerful. Well, in terms of fighter complement, not in terms of actual, you know, amazingness. Overload, and maximum electronic countermeasure. And we'll throw the speed of time up to maximum. Just get cruising. We want it to be going so we can find the enemy. Hey, there's the enemy. Enemy's another heavy cruiser. According to the fleet screen, we're looking at an NAX. Okay, so this is a new armored cruiser. This is possibly quite dangerous. I believe that this should be fairly dangerous if it's like the NAXs of any other nation. Well, we're looking at 4 disruptors and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 phaser 1s. That's more than some early era dreadnoughts, if I'm not mistaken. He's only got 2 ESGs, so this really demonstrates a move by the Lyrans away from the ESG armament, which makes sense because ESGs are not all that good. So I wonder what sort of mental process went behind that. We are probably going to deploy fighters. We just got to make sure that the ESG has been taken care of. So fighters, go on the attack. Ooh, no, I don't want to. Not until after I've got this guy committed and knocked out his ESG. He's got 2 of them, and 20 damage is a lot for a fighter to tank. So it's not something I want them to actually face tank. Okay, he fired his phasers from long range. Get ready to open fire. And fighters to assault mode. Blast everything. Oh, we actually got him. We fired every single weapon. I didn't think we would. So we got our fighters in assault mode. Unfortunately, the pseudo-frigates were too close, and so the fighters went after them. And we did lose a fighter in that asteroid base assault. Unfortunate. So he did a pretty decent amount of damage, 146 to this guy already. So he can't be having a great day. He is still blasting away with those phasers. Like I said, capital X refits, actually pretty powerful. You throw 11 phaser X's on anything, that's going to have a pretty powerful amount of damage that it can dish out. So he's just sort of sitting there, so I've got only my aft phasers on fire, which luckily is Gatling phasers. Go home. Go home. I don't think they're going to get home in time. Nope, never mind. We didn't actually lose a fighter in that group. Good. So we should be fine. 308 prestige and a tile taken. That's another wonderful tile. And that one actually borders the planet that we're going to be taking next. Lovely. Come on, give me the big one. I want a Monarch-class battleship. Well, a Monarch battleship carrier. Because I could get a Monarch-class battleship right now. Oh, wrong one. I'm not going to go through the entire list in order to find it again, in order to make the statement that I want that one. Okay, repairing a couple of 3s because reasons. And we did lose a single Hornet, which is an additional 30 cost, which is expensive, but hey, it's for a good cause, right? We'll pop over here to just say hi, blast our way through this territory on our way to our station, because our next target is probably going to be that planet. We're starting to get a nice little crescent moon shaped sort of thing going in on here, placing the aggression against them that they must deal with. Overload the fusions. I could also overload the Hellbores. I'd prefer to leave them flexible, even though I don't make use of them in the most flexible manner. Because honestly, what I should be doing is I should be firing the Hellbores at long range, and then waiting for them to recharge, and by the time they make it to close range, they should be ready to go again. CCXP. Okay, so we're looking at an old-style command cruiser. And we definitely can see the old-style command cruiser lines in it. It's definitely the older hull style. And, yep, definitely built along those lines. It's only packing 6 phaser X's, 4 disruptors, 2 ESGs. Although the 4 phaser 3 Hind Claws are not terrible. They're just not particularly good either. Let's not forget reinforce. And yeah, he fired the moment he realized we were reinforcing. He's like, I can't let you do that. And like most vessels, he starts to bring his own pseudo-frigate group, and the reason for that is they invented some sort of tractor anchor technology that allows pseudo-frigates basically to latch onto the hull. Wow, your disruptor fire has just been crazy. Okay, it is the Strong Jaw. And you have not used your ESG, which is confusing to me. There it is. Unfortunately, by the time you use it, yeah, that's gonna happen. However, because you used it, fighters, let's go. Drop him right on top of him. His phaser's still doing a number on my shields because the phaser X is a fantastic weapon system. Come on, just shoot your Gatling phasers right now. I don't care about those stupid pseudo-frigates. They are worthless in all ways. No, seriously, these pseudo-frigates are terrible. They have 1 disruptor. Ooh, wow. Unfortunately, my fighters think they're the most deadly thing in the universe. I don't mind my fighters defending me against other fighters. That makes sense. That's good. But that's just stupid. Now shoot your Gatling phasers and kill him. Ugh. Having to deal with them sometimes and their stupidity. Get back. so that you get teleported. Thank you. Yes, they get teleported at the end of that so long as they're already given the return command before the mission complete thing pops up. So if you want to really save your fighters, you got to make sure that they're back home before mission complete pops up. There might be a button bind in order to make that faster, but I don't know what it is. Okay, could pop over here, as was the original plan. We're almost up to 17,000 prestige, which would be really nice. Hi, looking for a battleship carrier. Can you provide? Nope, you just got another battleship, which, it's cool and all, but I want 20 fighters, and I'm more than willing to give up 2 Hellbores for it. Alrighty, that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see a notification every time I post one of these videos. Press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.